Here comes Moses. Here comes the quarterback, Burrow. Looking for a block, and he got it up in the front by Hopkins into the end zone. Touchdown!
Fakes, throwing to the end zone, wide open is Higgins for the Cincinnati touchdown.
There's the sneak. Burrow gets low, driving towards the goal line. He's inside the one, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown.
We're about to get into some new stripes. Thirsty.
Here comes Moses. Here comes the quarterback, Burrow. Looking for a block, and he got it up in the front by Hopkins.
Thirsty.
Touchdown!
He's inside the one, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown.
Welcome to New Stripe City, YouTube channel for diehard Bengals fans. I'm your host, Ace Boogie. First off, if you're new here, we talk about the Bengals, anything from film breakdowns to live streams to player interviews. We do it all here. We also have the Orange is the New Black podcast. That's a part of the Cincy Jungle Podcast Network. So tap into that. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. We're doing a giveaway once we get to 15,000 subs. Where I will give you a jersey of your choice for free. That's right. Any jersey that you want. Maybe it's this Joe Burrow. Maybe it is the Jamar Chase Uno jersey. And if you are looking for a link for that, that link is in the description. That was the commercial that we showed before. But any jersey of your choice, I'll pick out for you, even if you're not a Bengals fan. So today I'm here to talk about day two options for the Bengals. Obviously, they picked Jamar Chase. So great pick. I think that he fit this Bengals offense, which is definitely looking towards the LSU style. But the whole reason why you guys knew that I was Team Sewell is because I worried about the second day and where they would go on the second day. So I will just personally give some of the options that I think that the Bengals could go into and discuss what my thoughts are on them from certain things that I'm hearing. The first person that I want to start with is Tevin Jenkins. Obviously, Tevin Jenkins was a guy that should have gone in the first round by most account. But this was something that I kind of predicted as well, where I said, you know, there is, once you get into past the Panays and the Slaters, who's the third guy? And that's what we kind of saw last night. For some people, may have been Darisaw, may have been Leatherwood, and we saw those guys go. Now, the Bengals still do have options. They have plenty of options because what ended up happening was there was actually a run as well on edge rushers, which could cause some confliction for the Bengals when they get to 38, and this is why. Azeez Ojulari was a guy that probably should have gone, and some even called him Edge 1, and he may be there. There's a chance that he may be there at 38, and there are still a lot of offensive linemen left. You still have Liam Eichenberg. You still have Sam Cosmi. You still have Tevin Jenkins. You still have Wyatt Davis. You still have a lot of guys. There's also another guy by the name of Christian Barrymore, the defensive tackle from Alabama. The Bengals lost Geno Atkins. That's still a huge need for them as well. So it'll be interesting once they get to 38 what they actually end up doing. Now, here's another option that I was actually talking to James Rapine about in the DMs, and I think they could potentially trade back. If they do get to 38 and they can't make a decision on a Barmore or Ojulari between a Tevin Jenkins, and let's say Tevin Jenkins goes and it's Eichenberg or it's Cosmi, and they feel like there's two or three guys that they would be comfortable with. You're talking about Wyatt Davis, too, Landon Dickerson. These are guys that are still there. They may opt to move back and pick up another fourth-round pick maybe I think they could get for moving back some spaces and still take some of those guys. I think the Bengals are actually in a good position to start this off. So we'll have to see what happens. Now, Eichenberg, I think, is a guy to keep your eye on, right? He comes from Notre Dame. This is a school that's put out some very good offensive linemen. So he is intriguing. And then we also have drafted guys out of Notre Dame before. So keep an eye on that. I think that there will be some interest, and maybe we could see him potentially get picked up. And whoever they bring in, this guy can play guard. He could potentially play tackle, but they'll likely play him at guard. And there's several guys in play that they could do that with. But the Bengals do have three teams that do need linemen in front of them. So you could potentially see the Jaguars take a guy like Tevin Jenkins. And that's where it gets complicated, because if they take Tevin Jenkins and you've got Barrymore staring you in the face, or you've got Azeez staring you in the face, I wonder what they're going to do at that spot. You also have Dylan Reduns. The only thing about him, though, I haven't talked about him a lot, is the Bengals don't really draft small school guys like that. Like, I'm not saying that it's not a possibility, But when you look at the trends of what they've done in the past, they usually stick to a lot of the top school guys. You talk about the SEC's Power 5 guys. That's where they like to go. So for me, I think that they prefer a guy like a Eichenberg, even a Cosme or a Tevin Jenkins in lieu of a guy like Dylan Reduns. And that's not nothing to try to hate on him or anything, but at the end of the day, it still comes down to competition. And yes, he did do good at the Senior Bowl, but at the end of the day, the Senior Bowl, not everyone was at the Senior Bowl. Let's just put it that way. And it's awesome to gauge that he can hold his own, but it's different between holding his own against guys at the Senior Bowl and guys in the AFC North. And I'll just leave it at that. But Tevin Jenkins, I think, is a guy that they could look at. I think that would be great value. And I think the fact that he was a guy that was supposed to go, it looks like Willie's telling me to call him. I'm about to get ready to call Willie Anderson after this. But I think that could be where they're looking to go. And, from what I heard yesterday, I think that all eyes are on a lineman potentially at 38, but we'll see. Anything can change. Obviously, T. Higgins around the same time last year, they didn't expect him to be there. They got a couple of guys that you probably didn't expect to be there. You talk about JOK, that's another guy that's there. I doubt that they would pick a linebacker over an edge rusher and a D tackle, but that's just me, or offensive lineman. So this was the situation that I kind of felt like they would be in. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do when they get to 38. I am wearing a Joe Goodberry hat. Shout out to him. He also posted one wearing my hat as well. This hat is fire. He will be having these pretty soon. So be sure to check out his Twitter at Joe Goodberry. You're definitely following it already. But I think he said something about launching a link in May. And if you want one of my hats as well, the link for that is in the description. And if you are looking for any other items and merch, definitely be sure to check out the description for sure. But I think that it's pretty likely that they're going to be splitting hairs at 38, and they may move back a couple of spots to pick up another pick, and maybe it's that they take someone like a Barrymore, right? But then they can use that third and a fourth to move back up into the second round. So we'll have to see what they do. But likely with the Bengals, they'll probably move back and take picks. You think about any time that they've been in the second round, whether it was when Joe Mixon was there, when they have guys that they know that they want, and there's a couple of them, sometimes they move back and add picks. And so I think we could see them do that. But it'll be interesting. I think Liam Eichenberg is a guy that I would probably zero in on. Obviously, you also have Tevin Jenkins as well. But like I said, don't be surprised if they think about going defense. It would not shock me. So let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I'll leave you guys with a who day all day, every day, and especially on Sunday.
Here comes Moses. Here comes the quarterback, Burrow. Looking for a block, and he got it up in the front by Hopkins into the end zone. Touchdown!
Fakes, throwing to the end zone, wide open is Higgins for the Cincinnati touchdown.
There's the sneak. Burrow gets low, driving towards the goal line. He's inside the one, and